Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tehzeeb Fatima, working as an assistant professor, Department of Physiotherapy, Rama University, Kanpur. The topic we had previously discussed, that is active movements. And in those topics, we are discussed about assisted exercises, resisted exercises, and free exercises. And the part which was remaining, that is passive movement. So today we are telling about passive movement. So we'll start with the definition. So what are the passive movement? The movement which are performed with the help of any external force whenever the muscles fails to perform the movement by its own. Or in other words, we can say that the movements which are performed with the help of external force during muscular inactivity, or whenever the muscular activity is voluntarily reduced as much as possible to permit the movement. And the passive movements are always smooth, rhythmical, and accurate. So these type of movements are known as passive movements. Now I'm going to discuss about types of the passive movements. There is two types of passive movement, that is relaxed passive movement, and the second one is passive manual mobilization. And in passive mobilization, further divided into three parts, that is mobilization of joint, the second one is manipulation of joint, and the third or last one is stretching of soft tissues. So these are the types of passive movement. Now I'm going to tell you about the specific classification of passive movements. So there are two types of specific classification, that is manual passive movements, and the second one is mechanical passive movement. In manual passive movement, the movement which is performed with the help of any physiotherapist or any medical professional, that is known as manual passive movement. And in mechanical passive movement, the movements which are performed with the help of any mechanical devices are called mechanical passive movement. For example, we can use CPM. So CPM is continuous passive mobilizer, which is used for relaxed passive movement or joint stretches or joint mobilization. And the springs, weight, plaster cast or pulleys, etc. are used also for joint stretches and joint mobilizer. Now I'm going to tell you about the principles of passive movements. So there are 6 principles. First one is relaxation. Second one is fixation. Third is traction. Fourth is range. Fifth is speed and duration. And the last one is sequence. So first and foremost principle is relaxation. Position of the patient has to be maintained throughout the movement, because if patient is not comfortable with her or his position, then he or she should not be cooperate with the movements and throughout the treatment protocols. And also the relaxation position is also for maintained by the physiotherapist, and that position is walk standing position like this. So relaxation is maintained for both physiotherapist and the patient. Now the next principle is fixation. Always fix the proximal joints, otherwise tricky movements may occur. Before starts any movement, we should maintain and fix the proximal joint and stabilize the proximal joint. The third one is traction. Traction should be maintained throughout the movement because it increases the space between the intra-articular surfaces and reduce the addition between the intra-articular surfaces. Like if this is the bone, the synovial fluid. So if the bone comes each together, then the friction occurs, and friction causes the pain, inflammation, swelling, etc. So maintain the traction to increase this intra-articular space. Now the next is range. Next principle is range. So range may be vary in patient to patient and perform the movement within pain limited range, and range may be affected by various factors like gender, age, soft tissue injuries, any neurological conditions, any bony deformities, clothing, etc. All these factors may affect the range. The next one is speed and duration. Speed should be maintained throughout the movement. Speed must be rhythmical and same throughout the movement. And the last principle is sequence. In this principle, we should maintain that the movement occurs in flaccid condition always in proximal to distal manner, and in a spastic condition the movement occurs in distal to proximal manner because of lymphatic and venous drainage. So these are the principles of passive movement. Now I'm going to discuss about the indications of passive movements. So there are the conditions in which passive movements are indicated. So that is prevents DVT. It means deep venous thrombosis. For relaxation, for edematous limb, for unconscious patients, and the patient who cannot perform the active range of movement, or the patient who cannot perform the full range of movements. So these are the conditions in which passive movements are indicated. Now the contraindications. Some conditions in which passive movements are contraindicated, that is recent fractures. Any recent fracture, we don't apply the passive movement. Recent dislocations, any malignant tumor, psoriatic arthritis, or DVT. Always remember that passive movements are only for preventive measure for deep venous thrombosis, not for treatment methods, because in DVT, patient having complaints with the pain in calf muscle, increased temperature or tenderness. So in these conditions, if we apply the passive movements, then it dislodges the thrombus and causing the pulmonary embolism, which leading to death. So in DVT, passive movements are only for preventive measures, not for treatment protocols. Now the next is effects and uses. To maintain the muscular property, we can use the passive movement. To increase the range of motion, we can use the passive movement. To increase venous drainage, we can use the passive movement. To increase the lymphatic drainage, to break the adhesion formation in the joints, we can use the passive movements. So these are the effects and uses in which we can apply the passive movements. Now, I'm going to tell you about the procedure for relaxed passive movement. In this, we had a patient and always maintain the relaxed position, which is the first principle of relaxed passive movement. So for the shoulder joint, there is 6 movements: flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, medial rotation, and lateral rotation. So for shoulder joint, patient is in supine position and in relaxed manner. Position of the patient is supine lying and position of the therapist is beside the patients. So this is the shoulder flexion, and this is a neutral position for extension. We can position the patient in prone, turn. Now we can apply the extension movement of the shoulder joint. Next, turn. So the next one is abduction movement of the shoulder joint. So this is abduction and this is adduction movement. For medial and lateral rotation of the shoulder joint, position of the hand should be placed in a surface and in make a 90-degree angle, and this is a 90-degree angle, and apply these movements. This is lateral rotation of the shoulder joint and this is medial rotation of the shoulder joint. Now the next one is elbow joint, and in elbow joint there is only 2 movements, that is flexion and extension. So in elbow joint, this is flexion movement and this is extension movement. The next is inferior radioulnar joint, and in inferior radioulnar joint there is 2 movement, that is supination and in pronation, and always start the supination and pronation movements in the neutral position. So this is the neutral position of patient. This is supination for inferior radioulnar joint and this is pronation. The next one is wrist joint, and in wrist joint there is flexion, extension, ulnar deviation and radial deviation movements. So this is wrist flexion, extension, ulnar deviation and radial deviation. Now the next joint is MCP joint, metacarpophalangeal joint, and in MCP joint there are 4 movements: flexion, extension, abduction and adduction. So this is flexion movement, this is extension movement, these are the abduction movements and this is adduction movement. Now the last one of the upper limb is thumb. Thumb is flexion, extension, abduction, adduction and opposition. This is opposition movement. One more joint is remaining, that is IP joint, interphalangeal joint. In this joint there is only 2 movements, that is flexion and extension. So this is flexion of the IP joint like this. This is flexion of the IP joint and this is extension of the IP joint. So these are the passive movements for upper limb. Now I'm going to tell you about the lower limb movements. So in lower limb, we start from the hip joint. So in hip joint there are 6 movements: flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, and medial and lateral rotation. So patient position is same, that is supine lying, and therapist position is also same, that is beside the patients. This is flexion of the hip joint. This is the neutral position of the extension. We can shift the patient in side lying and place the ankle like this and hold the acetabulum and like this. So this is the extension of the hip joint. Okay, the next one is abduction, adduction. In the medial and lateral rotation, we can apply this movement in short lever. So this is the lateral rotation and this is the medial rotation. Medial and lateral rotation of the hip joint is opposite to the medial and lateral rotation of the shoulder joint, because in shoulder joint we can perform the movement like this. This is medial rotation and this is lateral rotation, or we can say that this is medial rotation for shoulder joint and this is lateral rotation for shoulder joint. And in hip there is opposite. This is the lateral rotation and this is the medial rotation. Now the next is hip, knee joint. So knee joint, there is only two movements, flexion and extension. Now, next one is ankle joint, and in ankle joint there is two movement, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So this is the plantar flexion and this is the dorsiflexion of ankle joint. And in subtalar joint there is only two movement, inversion and eversion. This is inversion and this is eversion. Now the last is metatarsophalangeal joint, that is also known as MTP joint, and in this only two movements can occur, flexion and extension. So these are the movements for procedure for the relaxed passive movement, and this is the topic, passive movements. Thank you.